What's going on, you guys? Welcome on back to the channel. Now, for the longest time now, there's been a long-standing debate on where this final season of My Hero Academia is going to end. Some people have been saying it was going to end with the original ending. A lot of people have been saying it's going to end with Deku and Uraraka in the bonus chapter, but we haven't really been able to come to a clear consensus yet as to where this final season is going to end. It's kind of been like up in the air. But I think that answer can finally be put to bed because just recently we got the announcement for an OVA to My Hero Academia being released after episode 11, essentially being called episode 12. And what I think this is going to be adapting is what I have always been heralding as the true ending to My Hero Academia. And that is the bonus chapter in the art book that primarily focused in on Eri as a character and gave us that final glimpse of Deku in his hero suit. Now, I've wanted this ending for so long. This is the ending that I have been campaigning for to be the canon ending in the series for a very long time. And I was afraid that we really weren't going to get it. I thought it wasn't going to get adapted at all because a couple of weeks back, there was this whole thing going on where there was 12 episodes in the episode listing, and then they took it out, and then they put it back, and then they took it out again. So there was a lot of confusion as to where the season was going to end. And a lot of people, including myself at this point, thought it was going to end with Deku and Uraraka. Now, obviously, that would have been a great place to end the series, right? You see Deku and Uraraka, the main couple in the series, get together and solidify their feelings for each other. That would have been a great ending to the series. But the way I always wanted the series to end was on that bonus chapter because you get this great conclusion to Eri as a character where we see that she becomes like this great singer and she's going to do a concert. And then we get to see Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki, who've pretty much been catapulting through the ranks. And we just get to see the series end with Deku being the hero that he's always wanted to be and smiling. That is why I wanted the series to end this way because so many people like were saying, I don't know, they were just saying a lot of things about Deku's ending as a character. A lot of people were saying he's a McDonald's worker. A lot of people didn't really agree with the fact that Deku becomes a teacher at the end. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't like it at first either. But looking back on the ending to My Hero Academia, him becoming a teacher makes sense because Deku is a character who has essentially always been trying to teach himself about different quirks, right? That's why he had that hero notebook. So he could learn more about quirks and apply them like to himself. And that hero notebook came in handy when he became a hero. So the way I always the way I always interpreted it was him using like that notebook and taking what he learned from being a hero student at UA and translating that into being a hero who can essentially raise up the new heroes of tomorrow as a teacher. That's the way I always saw Deku's ending. But I'm not gonna lie, I did think that he needed something a little bit more, right? That's what I thought was great about the bonus chapter was that you got to see him solidify his relationship with Uraraka. We get to see him do a little bit more hero work, but it still didn't feel concrete to me, right? It still felt like we were missing some things to Deku's ending. And that's where the bonus chapter and the art book comes from. That's why I like it so much. It gives you that conclusion to Eri as a character. And then it gives you Deku essentially being a hero, doing hero work with Bakugo, Bakugo essentially chasing Deku forever. That's the ending that I wanted, right? I didn't want the ending to be Bakugo inviting Deku to his agency. I wanted them to be equals, right? I wanted them to be equals, like fighting alongside each other. That's why I like the art book ending way more than the essentially 431 ending. I think this ending is a lot better for Deku as a character. And the fact now that it's most likely going to be adapted now in this episode 12 OVA, that officially makes My Hero Academia like the final season anime as the one-stop shop for this final stretch of the material. Because I've been saying now in a plethora of different videos that the anime needed to be the one-stop shop for My Hero Academia's final act, right? I've been saying that since the beginning. I didn't want it to be a case of they adapt some things but not the other. So I'm really glad that this is the outcome that we're most likely going to be getting. We're going to see all the material adapted. And that is something I'm very appreciative of because I didn't want there to be a case of some content just getting lost on the cutting room floor because that's what happens to a lot of anime. A lot of anime, they kind of don't get all the material like adapted correctly into their ending. I mean, look at, for example, the Naruto ending, right? Like the anime essentially cut out like a whole chapter, if I remember correctly, from the ending, and they had to adapt it separately. So I'm glad that we're essentially getting the 100% canon ending to My Hero Academia in one season. That's what I'm most excited to see. And now that it's officially confirmed, or all but confirmed, that this is how the series is going to end, I'm most likely just I'm more excited to just see how they're going to adapt this bonus chapter because it's not very long. So what I honestly think they're going to do is expand on Eri within that chapter, right? I honestly think that's the best way you can go about it. You make Eri the central focus of that chapter, and then you sprinkle in Deku, right? He's not in the whole thing. He's not even in the whole thing in the OVA or in the final like bonus chapter, but you see him primarily on the TV. But what I think they're going to do with this OVA is stretch it out, make it a little bit longer, focus primarily on Aries' life now. That's what I want to see. I want to see the focus on Aries' life now because Aries was a character that went through so much like turmoil and grief. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how like they handle her in this OVA. That's what I want. I want her to be the primary focus, and then we get to see Deku near the end. That's what I want. I think that would be the perfect way to wrap everything up. Essentially, you have Eri be the primary focus, the one that Deku worked so hard to save, and then you pivot to Deku, finally become the number 4 hero, who's become like the greatest hero essentially. Right? He's just catapulting through the ranks and he's become the one for all hero. That's what I'm most looking forward to seeing. And then the final shot that we get of My Hero Academia, it ends on Deku just smiling. That's what I want more than anything else. Ending the series on a shot of Deku smiling, I think that would be perfect. But I think that's going to do it for me. Let me know what you guys think. How do you guys feel about the fact that we're going to be ending My Hero Academia with this OVA? Do you like it as much as me and view this as like the official canon ending, or would you have preferred if they just ended it on Deku and Uraraka? Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, I'm going to talk to you guys next time. Bye.